Hi, I'm Susan Smith. I'm an Associate Dean at the University of Sussex Business School. My presentation is on student partnerships and bridging the gap between understanding between staff and students. The presentation will outline the context, discuss students as partners based on the literature, provide some detail around the project from which the framework emerged and its outcomes, and then ask, what next? The Students as Partners literature outlines a number of different types of partnership. However, the underlying constant is that students are active, where they're participating in decision-making and knowledge creation. And this is also the case for the staff who are involved in partnerships too. We also know that in the context of curriculum activity, there can be a multiplicity of different types of partnerships, ranging across a large continuum from participation, token type of participation, all the way to students in control. And partnerships can take many different forms, not just curriculum partnerships, but going across pedagogic consultancy, learning, teaching and assessment, subject-based research and inquiry, and scholarship of teaching and learning. And of course, intersecting in a number of different ways. Our project is placed at the quality enhancement space. So the framework emerged from a desire to understand conditions for a partnership to thrive, but also to be sufficiently flexible to encompass some of the range of partnerships that we've just described. And of course, the values of partnership, which are absolutely fundamental to creating the conditions in which a partnership can thrive. However, we also need to be aware that the partnership can evolve throughout the course of the project. So this framework emerged from a project which had a defined outcome, which was to revise assessment criteria for use in our business school, and the interviews with the participants from that project. It has also been applied to a project with a defined purpose but no defined outcome, and that was to build community between staff and students in one of the school's departments. We're in the process of launching another project to investigate award gaps, and we'll try to apply the framework in that project too. So the framework that emerged emphasised 5 different stages in the project. First one was problematising the project. What were we trying to solve by the staff-student partnership? Why was it important to have both staff and students involved? Then we entered a phase of listening, where we spent time listening to each other, listening and understanding what the barriers were and how we might overcome them. So that moved into the creating phase, which was positive. So the framework for establishing successful partnership has 5 distinct phases. The first one involves problematizing the partnership. Why is the project being run as a staff-student partnership? What insights do we hope to achieve as a result of working together? Is there a mismatch in understanding, and how can we overcome it? So we then entered into a listening phase where everybody could contribute by providing their experiences and expertise. Then we entered a creating phase where we created the outcomes and focused on implementing. How were we going to implement it? What was the communications plan? And finally, how are we going to measure success of the outcome of the partnership product? So let me introduce you to the Assessment Connectors project. We had 6 different students participating from multiple degrees and years of study. We had a number of staff drawn from various departments, including undergraduate course director, postgraduate course director, the school's director of teaching and learning, student academic success advisor, academic developer, and learning technologist. The project team was put together in this way because we felt it was very important to encapsulate that range of perspectives in the discussion. In the problematizing phase, we defined the problem. Students were unsure of what was required in the assessment process. Feedback wasn't helpful for following assessments, and the criteria weren't used consistently. The students undertook a student survey to obtain feedback from their peer group. Faculty worked hard at assessment and feedback and had been for some time, but there was a mismatch in understanding, and all the hard work just wasn't translating into improved usage and understanding. And at a school level, we had received feedback from the National Student Survey, which is a survey that all final year students undertake nationally. And our results for assessment and feedback could be improved. So we had 2 subject areas in the second quartile, 3 in the third quartile, and 1 in the fourth quartile for the 2020 survey. And also, over time, we'd seen departmental criteria filling or trying to fill the gap that had been created between this mismatch in understanding between the school criteria and the student expectations and feedback. So in the listening phase, we spent time breaking down the barriers and the power relationships for students. We heard they need to be able to understand what is expected, and the transparency is important, and it motivates students by giving directions for improvement to help them fulfill their potential. For faculty, it's important to have a common approach in language, to be able to brief marking teams and ensure that understanding is the same, and provide some structure for feedback. At the school level, we heard that it's important to reduce ambiguity and misunderstandings, and that also quality assurance is important. And from that, level-specific criteria were an important element that we wanted to see as part of the output. From that, we moved into the creating phase, where we developed ideas and refined them as a group. Students and faculty worked together in mixed groups to develop descriptors and suggest level-specific language. And we worked to refine and agree through weekly plenaries. At the school level, the chairs steered the project to ensure delivery within the timeline, and did so through weekly plenary meetings. We move forward then into the implementation phase, where a suite of resources were created. Training was developed alongside a communications plan, which faced both students and faculty. So the students worked on student-facing communications and developed a video and animation. They worked in Welcome Week with new students and the Student Academic Success Advisors. They also wrote for the student newsletter, the blog, and so on. Faculty got involved through the communications plan and developing slides for use in class and implementing the resources that we'd created with the students. At a school level, we had a launch on the 3rd of September at our annual away day, and created a suite of supporting resources on our learning environment, and alongside training for assessment and feedback using the new criteria. There was also a blog written by the Director of Teaching and Learning and a presentation at the University's Teaching and Learning Conference. And in fact, our project has been adopted by one of the other schools in the university who are currently developing their own assessment criteria in a similar way. So what difference did the project make? Well, we're only in the first academic year of implementation and haven't quite finished that. However, we are seeing feedback coming through our Staff Student Liaison Committee and our Staff Student Experience Group. We hope that in the 2021 NSS, we will start to see some positive comments and improved scorings feeding through. And we're working with students to co-author a case study article. And for those individual students who were involved, they achieved an immense sense of satisfaction and skills development as a result of being part of the project. In terms of faculty, the uptake of the criteria for assessment design is a key measure of success, and improved structuring of the feedback and use of exemplars, as well as sharing of practice that took place in the January School Festival of Teaching and Learning. At a school level, we're hoping to see improved feedback from both students and faculty, increased consistency and improved quality assurance. One of the measures we'll be looking for is the NSS scores for 2021. At the individual level, faculty reported that they greatly enjoyed working on a change project alongside the students, and also getting to know other members of faculty who they might not always work together with. I'm going to play a short video now which lets you hear from the assessment connectors and the members of staff who were involved in the project.
I'd like to introduce you to the Assessment Connector project. A group of faculty and students have been working together to co-create revised assessment criteria for the school. I'd like you to meet the team.
Hi, my name is Lena.
Hi, my name is Georgia.
I'm Rob.
Hi, my name is Kimia.
My name is Cynthia.
Hi, I'm Andrea.
My name is Fraser.
My name is Philip Jarman.
Hi, my name is Farai Jenna.
Hello, my name is Matthew Walsh.
Hello, my name is Debbie Sperrin.
Hi everybody, my name is Gabriela.
I'm Dan Axon.
I'm Angela Go.
We heard that students need clear assessment criteria to understand what is expected at each level of study. That exemplars help students understand the different levels of performance on the individual assessment. That students have a strong preference for personalised feedback and suggestions for improvement. And that all of this helps create transparency around assessment processes. This led to clear and consistent criteria that are benchmarked to the appropriate quality standards and can form the basis of individual assessment rubric development. There are 6 descriptors: knowledge and understanding, that students remember what they have been taught and know how to use it; application, that students can make practical use of what they have been taught; critical thinking, that students develop their own reasoned view of the relevance and usefulness of what they have been taught; reading and research, students can gather relevant and reliable information; presentation and style, the students are able to make their ideas clear in a way that is appropriate to the intended audience; and teamwork, students are able to work with others. These descriptors form the basis of the resources that we have created. The generic assessment criteria differ by level as students progress through their studies. So I'm going to hand you back to the team to hear what they got out of being part of the project.
Having spent so long looking at this marking criteria and thinking about how it affects students, I think it's revealed to me just how difficult it must be to have to assess so many people and consider it, and I kind of want the best for them. I think it's given me a lot more respect for that aspect.
It has made me realize how much hard work and details go into making a very nice and clear assessment criteria that will help students with their assignments.
I got involved because I needed something to do with the summer, but I kind of also want to reflect back on my 5 years at Sussex and kind of use my experience to help others. And again, like Alina, I've kind of learned that there's obviously a lot more that goes on behind the scenes, and it's been really good to be involved.
And I found the Business Connector scheme actually really beneficial. I wanted to give back something that Sussex has given to me throughout my 4 years attending the university. There's a lot of thought and effort that goes on behind closed doors when it comes to the marking schemes and the rubrics.
I remember while reading some of the specific terminologies within the criteria, I sometimes got confused and they were unclear for me in terms of the extent of that terminology and the terminology itself. And also, it was sometimes hard to understand the quality expected from you to get a good mark in some specific modules. So I think there's some room for improvement in those areas.
And I thought by doing this, it would make feedback more relevant. So for me, something I wanted to help improve was how I could take my feedback from one module and be able to apply that to a module in term 2, and kind of improve the relevance of my feedback from the past term and kind of take that through my degree.
Like the other connectors, I didn't really realise that there was the room for improvement that we've been able to discuss, and just so because it's been very eye-opening, and it has allowed me to push for a more personalised feedback experience, because we put so much time and effort in as students for the assessments and for our exams, and a lot of the time it can feel like a lot of the marking criteria could be essentially copied and pasted. So having a bit of a personalised feel and focusing on not necessarily what you've done well, but how you can actually improve in the future, so you can take that on into your other assessments.
So the initial indications from the framework are that it's been helpful in establishing the conditions for partnerships to thrive, as well as framing the evolution of the process for different types of projects. It helps us to address some of the complexity in different partnership types, duration, size, through a focus of embedding the values of partnerships through the problematization and listening phases. There are, of course, some limitations. This may not be generalizable beyond the case studies featured. It is reliant upon a facilitator to establish the partnership group, and of course the composition of that partnership group could be a factor in the success of the projects. Further research is needed into mapping the evolution of partnerships throughout the process. If you want to contact me to discuss this further, my email address is here.